Here's a review of the 2019 Lexus GX 460. Is it any different than the 2018? I'll see you on the other side. Hit that subscribe button and let's do this. Just like I promised, guys, I'm going to be doing lots of reviews on the 2019 Lexus vehicles coming into our lot. This is, besides the ES and the NX, the LX is the first 2019 that we got. Now it almost looks like I've been doing some off-roading. I didn't get a chance to wash it before I snuck out for a little review, but it looks exactly the same as a 2018 through 2015, I believe, is when they updated it. So let's just get into it. Nothing's changed much. I still like the style of this grille, but you don't really have a huge benefit of going for 2019 over like a certified, because the vehicle really hasn't changed a whole lot in looks at all. It hasn't changed for about 4 years in looks. You have that little fog light down below the blinker. You still have this triple beam setup, which is more like a dual LED on the right, and then this is going to be like your parking light, for example. But the check mark still looks really good. It's held up pretty well over the last 4 years. The wheels, they're getting a little long in the tooth, but this is fine. I believe these are 18-inch wheels. Let me just double check. Yeah, 18-inch wheels, but the tire's so thick it just makes for a really, really smooth ride out there on the roads, and allows you, guys, this truck, I'll call it a truck because it's body on frame, it's going to allow you to do some crazy off-roading, whether you get the upgraded off-road package or not. This thing still is going to perform like a beast off-road. I still like the looks of it. There are some things that I like about the first generation of GX than this car, or this truck, I should say. But this one is still holding its looks really good to this day. I love these taillights. It's very, very chromy taillights. They still look good. LED taillights, they look great. From the back, gosh, this one doesn't have the chrome exhaust tip or any sort of exhaust tip other than that one, which you can get as an option. This one doesn't have it, but it's all right. It'll be updated in the next one. Now, speaking of updating, I believe there will be a refresh on this. They're not getting rid of this vehicle yet. There'll be a refresh on it for 2020, and then it will be replaced, my guess, in 2022 or 2023, either with another GX or a whole new SUV altogether, which is really exciting. Like, there's just a lot of new things. Go ahead and watch my future Lexus vehicle for all the news that I just got pretty recently on all the new Lexus vehicles coming out. So it's just fun to go ahead and review this car because I know it's going to be changing a lot in the coming years. There's not a whole lot to see here. Big plastic cover. I believe this has remained unchanged since the 2018 GX, but it looks good. I'm very excited to see what supplants this 4.6 liter V8. My guess is in the next GX they're going to put the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 from the LS in it. That's my guess, that's my hunch, but we'll see what the future brings us. This motor does feel right at home in this car. The transmission is excellent, super smooth, quick to downshift, but I can't wait to see what they're going to put in it in the future iteration of this vehicle. Let's get inside the 2019 GX 460. Now, it is pretty warm today. I can't believe it's this warm. This is how you start the car, obviously. Push button start, as long as the keys are in it. It's pretty warm today. It's like 90 degrees in the middle of September in Nebraska, which usually starts to cool down this time of year, but summer's still holding on, which is perfectly fine with me. Absolutely fine. So, here's a thing about this car. Right now, it's the only Lexus, and new Lexus, that you can get with a touchscreen. So they haven't really updated this system in a long time. I'm going to go to climate. Most of your climate stuff is going to be through here. Now I can just press auto, but I don't have a way to mess with the fans unless I'm inside here. So, that being said, that's how you increase the speed. So you lower the speed. AC is on. I'm not going to crank up the AC that much. I'll sweat a little bit so you guys can hear me better. So let's just go over. Now, as far as I know, nothing's been changed with this car, but what happened in the middle of 2018 is that they reduced the price on just about all of their GX builds. Now this one doesn't have the extra switches here that you'd find in a luxury build. 99% of people will never need them. I feel like the only people who would ever need them would be, gosh, if you're buying this car used, 10 years old, and you're just going to use it as an awesome off-road vehicle, because no one's going to take their brand new Lexus off-road and throw it around. We got some heated and ventilated seats down here. I like the placement. I don't know if this is new for 2019. Let's just go over the styling. Now, I do like the interior of this car. It's very, very simple, and the materials are really high quality. In other markets, you guys know this as a Toyota Prado Land Cruiser, but in here, United States, this is the GX 460 with a V8. So we have this cherry wood. Now I'll put the real wood color here in the video. Now I can't wait for them to get rid of this silvery plastic that kind of takes over a lot of the vehicle, especially in this middle part. You have this huge chunk of, yeah, I don't know, it's a lot of plastic, and it just doesn't look good. So I can't wait for the refresh of this vehicle, what should be happening in 2020. But for 19, like I said, there's little to no change. But I want to just give you some updated impressions. The steering wheel is a 10 out of 10 in terms of feel. Just feels great. I just love the grip up here. And then you have the nice leather. Now it's going to be heated on these leather portions of the steering wheel on each side. It's not going to be heated anywhere else. Speaking of heated steering wheel, I don't think this particular model has it, but you can definitely get it on a more expensive model. We don't have auto folding mirrors, which is very behind its time in my opinion. You just have your normal, I mean, I can fold them in and fold them out, but when I lock the car, it's not gonna do that automatically, which is kind of a bummer. This is how you clean your windshield, your headlights. I like having that button there. There's your gas cap, traction control, window controls. A lot of people lately, or just a few people on my videos lately, have been complaining that Lexus isn't illuminating their window switches enough. I don't know. If that's a thing for the majority of people, that you need to have your window switches illuminated, I feel like I've never looked down at my window switches after I know where they're there, right? As well as the locking. It's like, oh, I know. And you can feel, there's little dots here. Guys, there are little dots on this one that let you know that's lock, right? This one doesn't have any. All right, so these are, and there's an indentation here to let you know this is, now I believe these are lights though. These are lights, but a lot of people are complaining. Nice holders down here. Very nice. All right, over here in the center console, this is extremely sturdy and luxurious feeling. I love this. It feels super good. It almost looks like a baseball stitching, right? It looks super good. You have the same wood here as you do here, here. Now what's behind this wood? A couple USBs. We have an auxiliary and then a 12 volt. Very nice. And then a nice storage compartment down there. Again, this would be your switches for your sport or comfort driving mode, etc. Adjustable cup holders right here. I'd probably have that closed most of the time. I really like how this wood looks, but the doors are they're very, very sturdy and utilitarian. They're not super luxury like they are in the LX, for example, but they look like they're going to last to the end of time. I love this leather touch here. More wood here. This is soft touch plastic down here, and up here is, hard touch down here. Soft touch up here around the dash, all the way around. I love these bars here. I sold a Toyota Tundra the other day that had this handle all the way around on every single door but the driver door, which didn't make sense. I carved like a 1,000-inch lift kit on it. So here we go. The middle, there's not a lot of information on here. Now, the best way to move that around is just press that button. Parking assist is on, and temperature. That's it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, blind spot monitor is on. and second start is off. But that's all I have in this center thing. So show you guys that you can do other things with the screen, right? You press this button here to change different menus, but you can also press up and down on this enter button to go through some different. So average speed is 5 miles an hour. Can I reset that? Yeah, I just reset it. So I'm going to give you guys a good mile per gallon indicator once I'm done with the trip, so you can know what to expect. I know on my 2018 that I drove around for a bit, I got like 15, 16 miles a gallon on that thing. So out here going 60 miles per hour, I'm only getting about 15 miles per gallon, like 16. It's going up, but it just gives you an idea. Like, that's why this car is priced so aggressively against the RX, is because my fuel economy's just, it's almost, it's just in another world compared to the RX. But you can pull boats with this thing. You can go extreme off-roading in this. It's just a different vehicle. Now, most people buying Lexus, they don't need to be penny pinching on their fuel costs, but some people don't want to be just going to the pump that much, and that's a very valid point. We also have a current miles per gallon. As you can see, I'm going uphill. I'm getting less than 20. But out on the highway, your best is probably going to be around 20 miles per gallon. In the city, it's probably at best going to be about 15 miles per gallon. But there you go. After refuel, I'm not going to do that. Cruising range, now I'm almost empty, so there's only 34 miles left. It tells you what driving mode you're in. I'm just going to finish with that. It's so much different than any other modern Lexus vehicle, even though this is a 2019. It's so much different. Here are your volume controls, your stations, your mode. Now, a lot of people like this simplicity. It works, and there's less things to go wrong, I guess, in the future, but many things don't go wrong in a Lexus to begin with. Your cruise control is still the standard Toyota stock here. I'm not going to go too much over this touchscreen. Like I said, it's the only one left. I think they're going to bring it back in a future RX, though. Probably for 2020, they're going to put a touchscreen back in the RX. So that's pretty exciting, because touchscreens, they work as long as the right buttons are in the touchscreen and not out here, or vice versa. Okay, so navigation's up, audio, pretty simple. Climate, that's how you adjust your climate. Now you have these buttons as well, but no fan control. Going auto and then going temperature up and temperature down, in my opinion, is the best way to do it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for up here. I'm not going to get into it. Your volume's here. Sorry, I could get into it a little bit more, but that's about it. Now, when I got into this car, there was a huge black grease thing that I wiped off. I couldn't believe it. Now, if I remember right, these adjustable armrests are pretty much pointless. Absolutely pointless. I don't understand it. You have a huge container here. You can take out this. Very large. Now there's nothing in there. It's just big empty, and you have this coin holder tray / phone holder tray. But I think that's about it. Here is your sunroof, which I'm not going to go over. Sunglass holder. Actually, gosh, I always forget this has the cockpit mirror in here. I always forget the right word of it. But I think it's awesome. I would have it down all the time to look at my kids if I had this vehicle. There's your vanity light, vanity mirror. My hair's a little crazy today. I cut it, and my skin's a little dry. So gosh, I need to get on that moisturizing life. But that's about it. Let's get into the back seat. Now I'm going to comment on the front seats while I'm back here. The front seats are super comfortable. I love getting in the GX. It's a very comfortable vehicle. It's very spacious as well. I feel a little cramped in the RX. It just seems like the ceiling's not as high. You're sitting closer to the person next to you. But I just love the GX in terms of how spacious it feels, especially in this back seat. I have reclining seats. As you can see, this is reclined here. So very, very comfortable. Now this is a fake leather, as you can see, but it's a very durable material. It feels high quality. Absolutely. And then in the middle here is going to be your real leather. But it's good. Now, these are some of my favorite mat pockets in a Lexus. They're all leather. It's a little bungee there. I just like them. Now, they're not the biggest, but I like the style of them. I like the materials. Back here, we have heated rear seats. Now, this might be something you're going to see more standard in the GX, especially for 2019. Is you would get so many GXs without heated rear seats. So now I feel like this is going to be not quite standard, but you're going to see it a lot more often in the 2019 model. So I mean, I have my own climate control back here. That's awesome. So you can see that LCD, temperature, high, low, off. I think it's just really good. You can even control where the air is coming from. So very high quality rear climate control here. No connectivity though. That's what's crazy about these non-updated GXs, is just there's no connectivity. I have nowhere to plug in a phone if I'm a passenger. Now, we'll get in the back. I'm sure we'll see something back there, but I have a vent up here. Large pocket down here. But yeah, these seats are super comfortable. It'd be great for a long trip. My leg room is crazy good. And I just love the GX so much for what it is. And there's just a lot of things on it that need to be fixed, but I'll sum that up later. Opening the back, and remember guys, the GX opens up like a regular door. Okay, you can open the glass here if you needed to. Open the glass, throw something in, whatever. Boom, open the rear door. Now I'm not gonna fold up the third row seat. If you want to see what the third row seat is like, go ahead and see my 2018 review of the GX. And my impressions of that. I believe it's like my everyday family review of it. It's one of my most popular videos. But here we go. We actually have a full plug-in back here. You can run an extension cord through that crack in the seat for the passengers here. So it's not that big of a deal that there's no connectivity for the second row, but because you have this plug back here, you could throw an extension cord on. But it just seems a little ridiculous, you know, in a vehicle of this price point that you have to do something like that. All weather mats here, tons of cargo space with the third row folded down. Very, very accessible with this door. Now, some people with this door, they don't buy the car at all because they don't like how it opens, and if someone's parked behind you, how are you going to get into it? Those are all valid points, and I understand. But I like it. It kind of makes the GX a little bit different. But let's go ahead and get on to the next point. It's been a while since I've driven the GX, guys, and what I remember about it last time is that I like how it drives quite a bit. I love the power of the V8 and the smoothness of the transmission and the smoothness of the engine. It's a very quiet vehicle. The brake pedal took some getting used to in the 2018, for example, and I can't wait to tell you if the brake pedal, if they've changed that at all in the 2019. But let's get onto the road. Very smooth. It is smoother. It's a lot smoother in my opinion than the RX. Now the RX hybrid, that's something different. I think that's even smoother than the normal RX. Just don't like the RX's transmission or how it's implemented in that vehicle a whole lot. It takes a long time to downshift. This only has a 6-speed automatic transmission, which gives it less options when downshifting, so the downshifts are a little bit smoother in this. Now pickup is really good. You know, I barely press the pedal, and this car's just got a lot of torque and just scoots forward really, really well and without any effort. Little acceleration run here. No one's in front of me on the freeway. Punch the throttle. Oh my gosh. God, I love that Lexus V8s. This thing moves, guys, and the V8 sounds really good. I actually got off the throttle a little bit. I mean, this car has like 6 miles on it. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, push it too hard in this initial, you know, it is warmed up. It's been running for a while. The temperature is normalized. So, it's perfectly fine to push it. It's just not my car. You know that feeling like it's brand new, 6 miles, now I have 7 miles on it. You don't want to, I don't know, maybe you don't. Up to speed now, we're on the freeway. It's very quiet, like I remember. Very smooth. I mean, it does feel like a truck, but it feels like the most refined truck like pickup truck you can buy. Like there's just hardly any vibration going through the floor. It's very quiet. It's not as quiet as like the new ES, for example. I mean, there's more wind noise in this vehicle, which you would expect because it's not nearly as aerodynamic, right? Gosh, okay, I'm gonna turn the AC. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I am hot. It's 88. Okay, so I lied about it being, but I don't know. Out on the cement, guys. The cement's probably like 1,000,000 degrees, so it feels like it's over 90 degrees. So blind spot monitors are working really well. As you see this van passing me, I saw him coming in my blind spot monitor before I, saw him visually, and unfortunately, I kind of heard him coming as well. Now, like I said, this vehicle is very quiet. It's just not as quiet as the newest and most refined Lexus vehicles. The LX is quieter, the LS is quieter, and the new ES is just crazy quiet. I'd probably put it on a similar pedestal in terms of road noise as the RX. The RX might be just a tad bit quieter, but overall it's a very quiet vehicle. Back to the brakes, because I didn't really get a full chance to give you my impressions on the brakes. Yeah, they're the same as they were in the 2018. The pedal is very, very smooth. There's no vibration. The pedal feel is good, but you have to keep pressing down and down and down and down for it to stop. But the more you press down, it keeps going, and you get lots of, it does keep gripping harder the farther you push it. I don't think I've reached the furthest depths to the travel. It's just a really long brake feel experience. It just keeps sinking, but it keeps grabbing. It's just kind of a muted feedback. So I mentioned many times that this vehicle, the GX in its current form, 2019, doesn't have the technology that this car should. And that's why it's priced so aggressively against the RX. It feels like a more sturdy built vehicle. It just doesn't have the same level of technology. But what is that technology? Well, we don't have any Lexus Safety System Plus on this vehicle. So what does that mean? We don't have any pre-collision systems. We don't have any lane keep assist or lane departure alert or anything like that. You don't have any bicyclist detection. You don't have radar cruise control. You just have your standard cruise control. I'm sure there's something else that I'm missing, but so those are our safety features as well as technology. Now, other technology that this car won't have, probably until 2020, is going to be things like Apple CarPlay, Amazon Alexa. I mean, a lot of our 2019 vehicles don't have that anyways, not until October. But the RX, even the 2019 RX, there will be no 2019 RX with Apple CarPlay. So, I mean, it's just Lexus is very slow to implement new technology, especially if it's third-party technology. Man, they really don't trust other people in giving them access to their vehicles and their information. So, but I'm sure there's other, the headlights even are a little outdated now. Gosh, there's just little small things everywhere in this car. Like this is the only one, to my knowledge, that doesn't have it has no remote touch interface, doesn't have the mouse or the touchpad, which is probably a plus for some of you out there. But everything in this is touchscreen, which is, like I said, is still a plus for a few of you guys who refuse to learn the Lexus system, which isn't that hard. There's just a lot of menus to it, which can be kind of bothersome when you're driving. I mean, there's still menus to this touchscreen. It's just a little bit easier to navigate, right? Or easier when you're first learning. Does that make sense? But we don't have things like a panoramic sunroof. We don't have a 360 camera. We have, in one of the rare packages of the GX, you can find, I forget what the package is called, but you can see a camera on the right side only of the vehicle, as well as the back, right? And I think you can see it in the front as well, but you can't see it. It's like a 3/4 panoramic view camera instead of the full 360 view. So, but that's extremely rare. I'd say less than 1% of all GXs have that. So it's pretty much non-existent. But yeah, I'm just excited. You know, there's other things that need to be updated in this vehicle. Like I said, the motor. Yeah, this V8's amazing, but no one makes V8s anymore because they're not as efficient as a turbo or supercharged smaller displacement motors. They're just not as efficient. This transmission needs to be updated. So that, you know, there's a lot of things that this car, that it's priced so aggressively because it hasn't been changed. Now, a lot of people are okay with that. They're like, hey, this car doesn't need to be changed because it's perfect the way it is. For some people, it is perfect the way it is. For a modern Lexus, it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that they need to implement. I mean, this car is refined to a T. This car doesn't feel like it's lacking anything in terms of drivability, comfort, materials. Well, kind of on the dash or around the touchscreen here, this plastic, that doesn't be updated. But it's just a really, really well-built car overall. That just, it needs so desperately to be updated to be relevant. So let's punch the throttle a little bit. Oh my gosh. She's got some scoot. Sorry guys, you're probably just looking at the vents right there. I apologize. But I'm just gonna keep the camera in this view for our cornering test as well, so you get an idea how this thing handles. Don't expect it to break any records around the Nürburgring, but man, I just love this V8. Downshifted super smooth there, and we're gonna go around test the handling a little bit. Probably gonna catch up to this Dodge Durango in no time, but didn't sweat that first turn. Nice and calm. I'm not gonna push this thing to the limits, nor does it want to be pushed to the limits, but it does really good. For a huge SUV, it kind of buckles down. There's a good amount of body rolls you expect, but it gets to a point where it just kind of, you know, the body roll ends and it just powers out of that turn. Gosh, it looks beautiful out here at the lake today. Yeah, it's handling really, really well. Better than I remember. So, nice job, Lexus, and your GX. I mean, it needs to be updated, but this is a very well refined. I mean, this thing's refined to perfection, almost in the motor, the transmission, how it drives. There's just a few things, mainly technology, that they need to update it with. Overall, the GX 460 is still the super refined vehicle that I remember driving and reviewing. It was my first Lexus review, to be honest, I think, but it's my most popular one anyways, other than my LS 430 video. But this vehicle is still phenomenal. Brake pedal, yeah, it's good, but that's probably the only thing I can really gripe on this car, on how it performs. The interior still is sorely needing that update, but how this car is priced, right around the mid 50s, it's real competitive with the RX, and I would take this over the RX any day. Yeah, the fuel economy is not going to be the same, but I just like how this vehicle feels on the road over the RX. It's smoother, it sits higher, so the visibility is better than the RX. It's just that the electronics and the technology is not on the same level as the RX. So they both do things really well. They're just different vehicles. Overall, this 2019 GX is just like the 2018. Really, really good. I'll see you in the comments below and in the next video.